we've got Whale Capper, and back on is Snize at Snize Masters. Hello, boys. Whale Capper, you're back.
What is up?
People were worried that you had been kidnapped or something. They were like, I think like the FBI had finally caught up with you or something. You were just like, I gotta go. You're alive and well.
Yeah, it was. Apologies. Snize did an amazing job in my absence. I really thought his preview was excellent. I liked all his looks. But yeah, it was touch and go there. I completely messed up my time for my boat, and I saw it on the dock. They were like, "We are about to leave without you," and I better get going. So I had to hightail. So apologies, but I've gotten to watch a ton of the French Open. I'm back on dry land. I decided not to stay in French Polynesia forever. Back in California now, and enjoying the tennis. This has been an interesting start.
It has interesting, but not too many. I was talking with Snize yesterday. Not too many upsets. I believe we had one today, but not too many. Everything seems to be going according to plan. So from a better stance, it's money in the pocket really when you don't get those major upsets.
Yeah, the only major thing that has really shifted the win percentages on either the men's or women's draw is the withdrawal of Kiki Bertens today.
Yes,
man,
she was second favorite.
A surprise.
Yeah,
that was a surprise, man. I had some Kiki Bertens at a really nice price that got a lot shorter after she won Madrid, and after she looked like she had a very a very favorable draw. This opens things up pretty well now, it's a shame because she was really finding her peak form. This was probably the year that she could have made a final. It would have been pretty cool to see, but not to be, Kiki, not to be.
Not to be there. Snize, you were like shaking your head. Did you have some future plays on her? This was quite the upset.
Yeah, I did indeed. So first of all, welcome back, Whale Capper. A little bit of trouble in paradise, but nice to see you safe and sound back on dry land. Yeah, I did go ahead and take Kiki Bertens at 10 or plus 900 pre-tournament. So, and the draw, like Whale said, was opening up really nicely for her. I had her as pretty much a surefire finalist at this point, but she withdrew. Quoting an illness, she couldn't feel her muscles and she couldn't feel power. So she had to withdraw 5 games in there. So that's really unfortunate for that future. But on the bright side, that is excellent news for my other outright because I have Marketa Vondrosova as a really nice price. And I really do believe she can get to the final now because Bertens would have been her semifinal opponent.
Okay, well that's good. So there is some good news in all of this. But what about you, Whale Capper? Has that opened up any of your outright plays? Because I know you don't just take one.
No, I was all in on Bertens on the bottom half. Really, I have some Marketa Vondrova as well. I really like that look that Snize laid out last time, and she's looked okay. I wasn't overly impressed with her to this point, but she it's early. She still has a couple of matches ahead of her where she can kind of build a little bit of power and a little strength. I'm starting to get a little nervous about Karolina Pliskova in the bottom half. I don't really know where this clay form came from. She's done fine on clay in the past. She's always underwhelmed in the slams in general. She still hasn't ever, she's still looking to kind of break her maiden as far as getting her first kind of Grand Slam title. And she's playing really well, really confidently. She's got Kachina Martinez now helping her, strategize. Martinez was instrumental in getting Gabrielle Muguruza to Wimbledon title a couple years ago. So it's if I had to take a dabble on the bottom half of the draw at this point, I'm probably looking in the direction of Karolina Pliskova. It's worth noting Muguruza, for what it's worth, I had no expectations of her coming into this tournament, but the way she fought back in her round 1 match and the way she carried that form through a second round win was pretty impressive. So if she continues to build, she's going to be someone to watch out as well. Other than that, I'm not overly impressed with really any of the women to this point, I have to say.
What about you, Snize? Are there any women that have impressed you with form that has been surprising that you weren't really rating heading into the French Open?
I wouldn't say I have any surprises, so to speak, but Petra Martic has been really, really good. She absolutely demolished Kiki Mladenovic today. Straight sets, absolute obliteration, and that I wasn't expecting because she'd been really good under new coach Sacha Bajin, but she just stood no chance. She was outpowered there, so I would definitely look out for Petra Martic.
All right. On the men's side, I think we were talking yesterday, Snize, obviously about Rafa Nadal. Obviously, he's big favourites there. Novak Djokovic. So to ask you, Whale Capper, who do you think is it a little bit more clean cut on the men's side based on what you've seen?
Yeah, almost certainly the fourth quarter is still wide open for Nadal. Breaking down the fourth quarter a little bit, I had no expectations that Pablo Carreño Busta was going to do anything in this tournament. He's done virtually nothing in all of 2019 to this point. And, it looked like his career was kind of getting derailed for some reason. But he kicked major butt today. He was great. And it wasn't just the actual scoreline. What I saw of his play was superlative. And he's a clay court specialist in my mind. He's good on hard court as well, but he especially excels on clay. Some of his biggest accomplishments, his titles from a couple of years past, have been clay titles. And I have him circled for a round 3 win, and then likely good matchup for him in round 4 against Kei Nishikori. Kei Nishikori is the favorite to come out of that section and make the quarterfinal and challenge Rafa. I don't think it would be much of a challenge, but he's the favorite to make that quarterfinal in the fourth quarter. But I've got Carreño Busta circled now after what she put on a show today. He looks like he's saved up his best of this clay cycle for this tournament, which is cool. And good to see, because I've always cheered for him. He's made me a lot of money in the past backing him as a short, underpriced dog, and I think he's going to have that opportunity a couple more times here before he goes head to head with Rafa in the quarterfinal. And still, there's no one that looks anywhere close to the class of Rafa on the bottom half of this draw. If he doesn't make the final, it will be an epic upset. Like there's really no one at all. Maybe Stefanos Tsitsipas may come out of the third quarter and give him a run for his money in the semifinal, but I would be more surprised if he lost. I would be more surprised if he lost than I would be if he didn't lose a set between now and the final. Seriously, he could go 3-0 the whole way in. Until we get to a head-to-head with Djokovic or team in the final at this point, based on the way he's playing so far.
Yeah. What about yourself there, Snize? Have you got like a similar sort of breakdown of the quarter betting there? And do you agree with Whale Capper on Rafa Nadal's performance?
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Whale Capper's assessment there of the quarter situation. Kei Nishikori is kind of a squishy player. He just has this tendency to keep getting pushed into deciding sets, to keep struggling in matches that he really should just roll through. That was the case again today. He faced Jo-Wilfried Tsonga, and he was, ahead plenty of times, but he just kept falling behind and getting himself into trouble. And even though the scoreline says 3-1, that wasn't as straightforward as it looked. He'll now face young, talented Laszlo Djere, and the 23-year-old is finding some good form here. He's been very good on clay on the South American swing this year, and I think that's a potential 5-setter right there. So, as Whale said, it's not a guarantee that Nishikori even makes it to the next round. And Carreño Busta looks very strong, and he can definitely be the one who will get the honor of losing to Nadal in the quarterfinals.
The honor of losing.
Because as he said, it's literally the apocalypse. It's almost here if Rafa loses at this point before the final, because he's just in a class of his own right now. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Looking at some rounds, let's move to some more like round 2 bets here. Couple on the outrights that I'm looking at. Osaka, you can get a 1.73 against Victoria Azarenka. I actually read as well
Alex has done a round 2 parlay article, and it includes that. And then there's another price. Which one was it? I was quite surprised on. I can't. Well, Garbi Muguruza against Alina Svitolina, 1.91. What are you looking at, Snize, on the women's round 2 matches here?
So round 2 right now. I've placed 2 bets, gave them out on Twitter yesterday. I've gone ahead and played Arina Sabalenka to win versus Amanda Anisimova. I don't really understand why the price has drifted as it has. Sabalenka opened at, I think, minus 133, that's 175. And sure, clay isn't her best surface, but she played well in reaching the semifinal in Strasbourg the week before here. And she'll surely want revenge on Anisimova, who crushed her in the Australian Open earlier this year. And clay is the Americans' worst surface by far. And in my opinion, she doesn't move well enough or hit consistently enough on the baseline yet to be a major threat on clay. But she surely will be in the future. But right now, she isn't there. She hasn't beaten any elite players on clay in her career yet. She even skipped clay entirely last year. And yeah, I don't see her winning this one.
Right.
And then for my other bet, I've gone ahead and done a parlay. I've placed Maria Sakkari and Carolina Garcia, both to win. That's available at 190 and minus 111. Because Maria Sakkari, she's basically as scorching hot as the Greek sun right now. Rabat title in her pocket, got to the Rome semifinal, and yeah, looking really strong. Katerina Siniakova has struggled this year, but improved by reaching the semifinal in Nürnberg. But right now, Sakkari is just a freight train, and I can't see her having any trouble here. And Carolina Garcia, former world number 4, reached the Strasbourg final, also a good tournament there. And she's historically done pretty well here at home in the Roland Garros, reached the round of 16 last year, quarterfinal year before. And the young Russian Anna Blinkova hasn't made it past qualifying here before this year, and I don't see her having any trouble there as well. So those are the 2 looks I have right now. But other bets of interest would be, as you said, Natalie, Osaka to take down Azarenka, who struggled immensely on serve versus Ostapenko. That was a break fest. It was actually a miracle that she was able to win, given how badly she served there. It's just Ostapenko was just worse. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now.
Nice. And I like that little sneaky parlay bet as well thrown in. Have you got any parlay betting for round 2, Whale Capper?
I do. I love Osaka as a parlay leg. I don't like her on the handicap. You can't trust her to, get out there and dominate from first serve to final ball. But as far as her class and her ability to dig down and find another gear when she wants it, when she needs it, she can do it. We saw it. We saw it in her round 1 match, which was much more eventful than I expected at all heading into it. I mean, her opponent was not a pushover, but I did not expect her to get bageled in the first set. That was wild. So I like Osaka quite a bit as a money line parlay leg at a very favorable price. And people looked at the result of the first one. They're like, "Oh, she doesn't have it this tournament." I don't know. I think she's playing her way into form on clay a little bit. We saw her withdraw from a couple tournaments, so she hasn't quite gotten the reps, the matches under her belt. So it's going to take a while before we see her best. But I still think she gets the win here because she's got the tools and she's got the gears that the other gals do not on this surface and in this tournament. She makes a nice parlay leg with Australian Sam Stosur. For whatever reason, Sam Stosur continues to be underpriced on clay. By my estimation, that's her best surface. People think of her as an Australian player and she's good on, hard courts or something like that. I don't agree at all. I think clay is really where she shines. She's an experienced player. She's been through numerous slams at this point, and she's much stronger than her Russian opponent and should dispatch her in this one. I backed her at when the price on the open, it was even more favorable price. But at this point, if you haven't already gotten a piece of Sam Stosur, I like her parlayed with Osaka. Get a nice little close to just under $3, I believe, if you pop those 2 together in a little ACA. And that's my favorite look for the women's side. Although Snize made a really nice point on Sabalenka. I'm probably going to get involved there too. And Garcia has always been one of my favorite players in this tournament year over year. She's fun to cheer for. She's fun to root for, and I'll be pulling for that one for you too, Snize.
Wonderful too. Alex's need for tips. Here's he's going Federer to win 3-0 at 1. He's doing 2 round 2 trebles. So Federer to win 3-0 at 1.4. Bencic to win.
That one's good. That one's good. That one's already home.
That was already home, is it? Bencic to win at 1.31.
I'm not sure. Is that match still on? It was 1-1 right before we went to air. Do you know, did Bencic clinch that? Because I kind of have been following Bencic, hoping she does something good in this tournament. And now that Kiki's out of her quarter, Bencic might go. What do you think?
I think it says suspended.
Bencic is a player that right now, just quick on that match, is interrupted right now due to probably
because the darkness.
It's either rain or lack of sunlight at this point.
Oh.
I don't know there, but yeah, Bencic has really just played herself back into form. She made a breakthrough when she was really young and started crushing players left and right, getting into the top 10 and everything. Then she got injured and struggled a bit in her career, and it's been interesting to read articles on that and her talking about the increased mental maturity, how it's helped her to play with Roger Federer, and just getting back to that level again. She had a crazy run where she beat I think 6 or 7 top 10 players in a row earlier this year, and she's definitely a threat, legitimate threat, absolutely.
All right, so that one's suspended, and then he's got Osaka to win at 1.7. He has another treble. If you guys are watching, are interested, head on over to oddsmarket.com to the tennis page there, and it is listed. All right, so we have to quickly wrap up because I can see we have got Craig Edwards in the wings here. All right, men's plays. Let's start with you, Capper. What are you liking? The rest of round 2 men's plays.
I like 2 dogs tomorrow. I like Kyle Edmund on the money line. Not a lot was expected of him in this tournament. I thought he had one of the more impressive performances in round 1 of the men who kind of were coming in under the radar. He's had very nice runs in slams before. He's shown himself to be kind of a 5-set champ. He can go the distance. He's not a kind of guy that gets up 2-0 and kind of loses his focus, and he's not a Zverev, we'll say. And so I like Edmund a lot as a dog. I'm seeing him at about 2.5. I think he wins that outright. Could be a long match too, so the over's a nice look there. And I like Ivo Karlovic. He's got the tools to defend his serve, no freaking problem. He is going to force you to beat him in a tiebreak. And if you're going to make it a match of, if you're going to make it a coin flip match and you're going to give me a dog price on him against an opponent who has not shown an ability to especially handle the big serve well, I'll take that every time. So I'm looking for Karlovic to come away a winner tomorrow, and I like Edmund as well as a dog. So those are the 2 kind of stinky dogs that I think have legs tomorrow in the second round.
Sneaky dogs. What about you, Snize? Have you got any sneaky dogs you're looking at?
I do have a sneaky dog, and we talked about his opponent a bit, Alexander Zverev, a man who was primed to be the next big name, the next big name who was going to win the slams, who's going to dominate tennis, but it hasn't panned out that way. He's never really been successful in slams, and it just comes with his mental lapses. He just cannot be keened in for a full best-of-5 set match. It just ends up being 5-set matches most of the time. Struggled immensely versus John Millman, and he was an unforced error machine. He was mostly cruising despite being up 2-0 and making a bunch of unforced errors, but then just went away. It got to 2-2. He started up a career high 14 double faults, made 73 unforced errors in that match, and he'll face Swedish kid Mikael Ymer, who won his first slam match in impressive fashion. He's a solid mover around the court. And he had an interview after his first round 1 match in Swedish. And he's just talked about the preseason, how it's helped him. He's got a new people on his team, and it has helped him develop. And he's going to reach a career high of rank 120. Though these players actually faced each other in Ymer's first ever match in Stockholm 2015, Zverev was ranked 83, Ymer 617. Ymer took a set off him. And that's what I'm playing here again, over 3.5 sets at 2.02 or plus 102.
Cool. All right.
Great look.
And if there is one bet of all of round 2 that you would suggest for me to bet on, either from the men's or the women's side, you can include your parlay, whichever one. Well, Capper, where should I put my money? Give me one bet.
Probably Djokovic. Djokovic money line, I think, is pretty safe to play. I don't think you're gonna sweat that one too hard. You're probably not gonna get a great return on that, but that's a good look as you're ever gonna find. No, in seriousness, boy, men's or women's, I think my favorite look is Sam Stosur, and granted, I got a much better price than is currently available. So kind of do your homework and find a good shop where the line hasn't moved quite as much. But Sam Stosur is a dangerous player on clay, and the market does not price her that way. So that's probably my favorite play of round 2.
All right, same question to you, Snize.
My favorite play right now, I'd say it's Arina Sabalenka. I really like her in this matchup versus Anisimova. And until the American has shown me that she can beat elite tier players on her worst surface, I will be betting against her. And just really quickly, I am going to have to go head to head with Whale Capper here on his barking dog on Ivo Karlovic.
Oh, really? Okay.
I think that Dr. Ivo will run into some trouble here when he's facing a player who can actually move well around the court. I don't really think Lopez has the legs at his age right now. And Thompson is basically same type of player as Millman is. He can become a wall. He's going to get most balls back into play. He's not going to make many unforced errors. And if he can just block back enough balls into play versus that monstrous serve of Karlovic, he's going to be a force, because Karlovic, apart from his serve, doesn't really have anything else, especially not on clay. He's declined, which is understandable as he's 40 years old right now. But I don't really think that he's gonna win this one. And I've stuck Verdasco in a parlay with him there, because I think he rolls here.
All right, well, I think you guys are back on Friday, so we'll see. We're also going to hold you to these bets here that you've recommended that I personally take. I tell you what, you guys like the sneaky dogs. Craig Edwards likes the big dog. I tell you, you've not seen these prices makes your eyes water, I tell you. But and he's good at hitting them as well. So I must say goodbye to you wonderful folk. Thank you very much for coming on and talking more about the French Open. I'll see you on Friday.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. That's at Snize Master and at @well_Capper. Thank you so much, boys.